Welcome back, adventurers. If you're tuning in today, you're in for an exciting journey as we dive into the intricate lore of the 5th and 6th ages of Runescape. In our last video, we explored the mysteries and legends of the 1st to the 4th ages, and your response was absolutely phenomenal. This video is coming to you inspired by that one. Before we embark on this next chapter, I must issue a warning. Spoilers ahead. We're about to uncover some of the most pivotal moments in Gillenor's history, so if you're new here and haven't yet experienced the thrill of RuneScape's later ages, proceed with caution. For those of you who have chosen to continue, you know the drill. Grab a drink, get comfy with a snack, and settle in. Prepare yourself as we unravel the chaos, the conflicts, and the incredible stories that have shaped the RuneScape universe since we, as a player, arrived. The 5th Age of Gillenor began with a monumental discovery that would reshape the world. In the frigid and uncharted northern regions, a group of mages unearthed Runescence, a magical substance that had been lost to humanity since the 2nd Age. This rediscovery of Runescence was more than just an archaeological find. It was the key to reawakening runecrafting, a practice that would soon become the bedrock of magical advancement for humans. With this newfound power, humanity could once again harness magic, propelling them into an era of unprecedented magical prowess. The surge in magical ability led to the construction of the first Wizard's Tower, located south of Draenor Village. This tower became a symbol of human progress and a hub for magical learning and research. The presence of such an institution marked the beginning of an era where human influence in central Gillenor would reach new heights. Meanwhile, in the west, a significant event unfolded that would alter the political landscape of Gillenor. The Carnelian family, leading Saradomis with a fervent commitment to their faith, undertook a mission to purify the region now known as Ardoin. This cleansing operation was driven by a desire to remove perceived evil influences from the area. Through their efforts, they not only secured the region, but also laid the groundwork for the creation of Kandarin, which would rise to become the largest nation in the world. As a result of this campaign, one of Zamorak's most notorious agents, Haziel, was captured and sealed away. Haziel's imprisonment was a significant blow to Zamorakian forces, further consolidating the Saradomist influence in the region and contributing to the stability and expansion of Kandarin. In Asgarnia, King Radalin played a pivotal role in supporting the construction of a grand fortress by the Kintra, a powerful faction within his kingdom. This fortress, built in the northern part of Asgarnia, was intended to strengthen the kingdom's defences and assert its power. However, the alliance between King Radalin and the Kintra was fraught with tension. The Kintra's rivalry with the White Knights, a revered order with Asgarnia, led to escalating conflict and political instability. The internal discord over the Kintra's role and their ongoing rivalry pushed Asgarnia to the brink of civil war. This unrest cast a shadow over the kingdom's expansion and prosperity, highlighting the fragile nature of alliances in a rapidly ever-evolving political landscape. As rune production flourished, magic became increasingly accessible to the masses. This widespread availability, however, came with its own set of challenges. The increasing use of magic led to a notable increase in magical injuries, incidents that often resulted from untrained or inexperienced wizards experimenting with their newfound powers. One particularly tragic event highlighted the dangers of unsupervised magical practice. A renowned wizard, celebrated for his mastery of the arcane, suffered a catastrophic accident. This incident underscored the urgent need for a safe environment where aspiring wizards could hone their skills without posing a risk to themselves or others. In response to these concerns, the Mage Training Arena was established. Designed as a controlled space for magical experimentation and practice, the arena provided a relatively safe environment for wizards to develop their abilities. It became a vital institution, allowing students of magic to practice their craft under supervision and with reduced risk. Elsewhere in Gillenor, another significant development emerged from the past. Plans for a telescope created by the renowned scholar Scorpius dating back to the early 4th Age were rediscovered. These plans promised to advance astronomical study, offering a chance to peer further into the cosmos than ever before. The revival of Scorpius's plans led to the construction of a telescope and the renovation of an observatory in a ruined 4th Age town in southwest Kandarin. This observatory, once a beacon of ancient scientific inquiry, was brought back to life, enabling scholars to explore the heavens and further their understanding of the universe. The restored observatory became a hub for astronomical research, bridging the gap between ancient knowledge and contemporary science. In the year 17, King Boltoff of Varrock initiated a major infrastructure project, a sewer system intended to enhance the sanitation and functionality of Varrock Palace. The initial plans were straightforward, aimed at improving the palace's waste management. However, as construction progressed, the scope of the project expanded exponentially. Modifications and additions were made, reflecting both the evolving needs of the city and the ambitions of its leadership. By the time the sewer system was completed in the year 20, it had grown far beyond its original intent. The final result was a comprehensive sewer network that extended beneath the entirety of Varrock. This complex system not only improved the city's sanitation, but also became a critical piece of infrastructure, supporting Varrock's growing population and bustling urban life. In a dramatic turn of events, Varrock faced an unprecedented threat when the demon, Delrith, was summoned by Agrith Nar and a cohort of his dark wizards. This formidable demon wreaked havoc upon the city, its very presence casting a shadow of fear and destruction. However, hope arrived in the form of an unlikely hero. An ancestor of Grufeld Back, wielding the legendary sword of Silverlight, confronted Delrith. This ancient weapon, imbued with the power to repel demonic forces, proved instrumental in driving the demon back to the infernal dimensions. Delrith's defeat was a temporary reprieve, as players would later face this menacing foe once more in the quest Demon Slayer. This quest, a testament to the ongoing battle between good and evil, would cement Silverlight's legacy and the heroic deeds of those who stood against the forces of darkness. In Mauritania, a new era of darkness began as the vampires took control of the lordship of the North Coast. Their dominance over the region led to significant upheaval and the displacement of other supernatural beings. Simultaneously, werewolves resettled near the western border of the former North Coast, founding the village of Canifis on the site of the old settlement of Kuril. Despite their relocation, the inhabitants of Castle Fenkenstrain managed to withstand the vampire influence for over a century, standing as a bastion against the encroaching darkness. Following the death of Kandarin's revered founder, the kingdom fell under the rule of his successor, King Naris. Unfortunately, Naris's reign was marked by turmoil and eccentricity. Unlike his predecessor, Naris proved to be an ineffective and erratic ruler. Historical accounts reveal that Naris's insanity was widely known. In a particularly disturbing episode, he introduced a game of hangman to, as he called it, improve literacy. But this macabre pastime involved the execution of real people, including many innocents. Naris's reign, which spanned from the years 40 to 120, was marked by fear and instability. Upon his death, King Ulthus succeeded him, bringing an end to a troubled era and ushering in a new chapter for Kandarin. The years 42 to 62 were marked by a fierce conflict known as the Great Invasion. Northern barbarians, believing that the creation of runes was a divine prerogative, launching a brutal campaign across northern Kandarin and Asgarnia to enforce their beliefs. Sympathizers within the Kingdom of Mistalin added to the chaos, culminating in the destruction of the mage training arena near Al-Kharid in the year 47. The barbarians' campaign left a trail of devastation as they sought to impose their ideology through force. By the year 62, the barbarian strength began to wane. They settled in what is now known as Gunnarsgrun, or as we call it, the Barbarian Village, regrouping and preparing to continue their mission. Amid the turmoil of the Great Invasion, the thriving tribe of Imkando dwarves faced near extinction. The barbarian invasions had catastrophic effects on their communities. Kamdazal, a major dwarven hall beneath Ice Mountain, was utterly destroyed. The survivors, scattered and displaced, found refuge in various parts of Asgarnia. Among them was a dwarf named Thurgo, one of the few remaining Imkando dwarves, who managed to survive the devastation and continue the legacy of his people. In the year 65, beneath the fiery depths of Karamja volcano, a significant conflict unfolded within the Krandor and Karamja dungeon. Rogue lesser demons, driven by unknown motives, sought to invade the fortified city of Tazar. At the heart of this assault was Tazar-Ket Kad, a formidable Tazar-Ket, who stood as the city's primary defender. Against overwhelming odds, Tazar-Ket Kad single-handedly repelled the demon invasion, showcasing remarkable valor and strength. Despite his heroism, the battle came at a great cost. The intense combat resulted in the destruction of the city's main gate, a critical breach in the city's defenses. This loss was a grave concern for the Tazar, impacting their strategic position and requiring significant repair efforts. The Battle of Tazar City not only highlighted the Tazar's resilience, but also the persistent threats lurking beneath the surface of Gielinor. In the year 70, a cataclysmic event reshaped the magical landscape of Gielinor. The first Wizard's Tower, an iconic structure built on an island south of Draenor village, was a symbol of magical harmony and scholarly pursuit. It brought together Saradomis, Zamorakian and Gothixian mages who studied and worked side by side in relative peace. However, this fragile peace was shattered when a schism occurred. The tower's residents, unable to agree on the execution of a crucial ritual designed to enhance teleportation capabilities and power the tower's beam, inadvertently caused a catastrophic explosion. The resulting destruction devastated the tower, with the fallout leading to widespread accusations. Unfairly and unjustly, the Zamorakians were blamed for this disaster, while Saradomis and Gothixians shared equal responsibility for the failed ritual. This blame game fueled public outrage, particularly in Varrock, where tensions were already high. The destruction of the first Wizard's Tower had far-reaching consequences. Archmage Perian quickly undertook the reconstruction of the tower, sealing the ruins of the old one and expelling the Zamorakians permanently. This event also accidentally led to the discovery of the Dagonhai's plans in the Tunnel of Chaos, following the public's anger and pursuit of justice. Despite the rebuilding efforts, the loss of the original tower's knowledge meant that the secrets of runecrafting were lost to most humans for nearly a century. During this time, the Moon Clan preserved their runecrafting abilities through lunar magics, keeping the tradition alive in secrecy. In the same unstable year, the Dagonhai, a faction of Zamorakian mages, set their plans in motion to harness the power of chaos. They erected a statue of Saradomin outside the eastern walls of Varrock, concealing the entrance to the Tunnel of Chaos. This tunnel was intended to serve as the venue for a dark ceremony, aiming to manifest Zamorak's will in a powerful and malevolent form. However, the discovery of this plot by a vigilant watchman, coupled with the recent anger over the Wizard Tower's destruction, led to a swift and violent response. The Dagonhai were chased out of Varrock, with 2 of the 4 Dagonhai elders being killed in the process. The 3rd elder remained behind to defend the tunnel, while the 4th fled deeper into hiding with his followers. The Tunnel of Chaos remains to this day a dark reminder of the Dagonhai's nefarious plans. In the year of 76, a tragic accident occurred that would alter the political landscape of Al-Kharid. The Sultan, who was the ruling monarch at the time, perished in a dramatic flying carpet crash. The impact of this event was profound. In the wake of the Sultan's death, flying carpets were outlawed for over 90 years. A decree reflecting the trauma and political upheaval following the tragedy. From this obscure detail, we can deduce that between the years 76 and 168, the ruler of Al-Kharid transitioned from the Sultan to the Emir, marking a significant shift in leadership. By the year 98, the dreaded years of tragedy had culminated in a decisive confrontation known as the Great Battle. This epic conflict took place near the outpost north of what is now West Ardoin. The battle was marked by intense fighting between the Saradomis and Zamorakians. Only 2 men survived the conflict, an outcome that signified both the carnage of the battle and the profound personal transformations that it wrought. These survivors coming from opposing sides found common ground and chose to worship Gothics. One of them, a member of the Ardignus family, went on to become the first king of Kandarin and laid the foundation for the Ardoin market, ushering in a new era of unity and reconstruction. In the year 132, a momentous event unfolded as King Arthur and his legendary knights arrived in Gielinor from the distant land of Terragard. Their arrival was met with warmth and respect by King Ulthus. Seeing the noble intentions and esteemed reputation of King Arthur and his companions, King Ulthus offered them a grand mansion to establish their new Camelot. This land was previously owned by Lord Sinclair, who, recognising the greater need of the arriving knights, agreed to vacate the property. Lord Sinclair and his family relocated to the Sinclair Mansion, north of Sears Village. According to legend, King Arthur will one day return to Terragard during its greatest time of need, a prophecy that has echoed through the ages. In the year 136, a tragic hunting accident claimed the life of King Ulthus. This event led to a major division within Ardoin, as his sons, Lathus and Tyrus, found themselves at an impasse over control of the kingdom. Unable to agree on a unified leadership, the brothers chose to split Ardoin into two distinct cities, each becoming a separate capital under their rule. This division created a clear and enduring separation between the northern and southern halves of Ardoin. In the year 138, Lord Marshal Brogan founded the mercenary camp, known today as Mobilizing Armies, located west of Uglok. Originally composed solely of humans, the camp was a hub for mercenary activities. On the 13th of Raktuba, the camp faced an unexpected invasion from the elves of Taranwyn. Despite the initial conflict, Lord Marshal Brogan managed to negotiate with the elves, integrating them into his mercenary organisation. This pivotal moment transformed Mobilizing Armies into a diverse and powerful force, reflecting the dynamic and evolving nature of mercenary operations in Gielinor. By the year 139, Crandor was a bustling island community, home to many residents and known for its Champions Guild. However, the island's tranquility was shattered when an adventurer unwittingly awakened the dragon known as Elvarg. Elvarg had been in a slumber within the island's volcano. The dragon's fury left Crandor in complete ruin. In the chaos, some refugees managed to flee the island via fishing boats, only to be pursued, and their new camp near Remington was also destroyed by Elvarg. Among the survivors were three wizards, Thalzar, Lozar, and Melzar. They used their magical abilities to escape the dragon's wrath, each taking with them a piece of the only surviving map of Crandor. Melzar's piece was hidden in a maze near Remington. Lozar's piece was stolen by goblins after her tragic death, and Thalzar took his secret to the grave. In the year 142, the Mobilizing Armies camp faced a dramatic turn of events. A coup, led by its human members, led to the camp's relocation to a southwestern island, teeming with hostile goblins. Unaware of the full threat posed by the goblins, the human mercenaries were overwhelmed and slain by the goblins led by Shuddergob. However, Shuddergob, an old ally of Lord Marshal Brogan, was persuaded to join the mercenary organisation. Through this unexpected turn of events, many goblins were incorporated into Mobilizing Armies. Its ranks expanded and added a new dimension to the mercenary force. In the year 143, a high-profile theft rocked Varrock. The Phoenix Gang, an organised crime syndicate, managed to steal the legendary Shield of Arav from the Varrock Museum. Internal strife within the gang led to its fracturing, resulting in the formation of the Black Arm Gang. The two factions clashed over the stolen artifact, which was eventually broken during the ensuing conflict. The Shield of Arav was split in two, with each gang claiming one half. In the year 154, Varrock faced a significant threat when the Majorat Lucian launched the Siege of Varrock. Despite the city's runestone supplies bolstering its defences, Lucian's attack was ultimately thwarted. Lucian, known for his formidable power, managed to walk away from the siege unscathed. The event showcased both the strength of Varrock's defences and Lucian's enduring presence. The year 155 marked the end of an era for the Fremennik province as the last traditional nomadic tribe settled permanently. Their move was prompted by the abduction of their chieftain's daughter, Asleaf Hamelsdotter. It was later revealed that Asleaf had been murdered by a man posing as a deity known as the Kendall. Her death catalysed the tribe's transition from a nomadic existence to a settled lifestyle. Also in the year 155, a series of raids were launched by Kintra soldiers on villages and farming communities in northern Asgarnia. Commander Sulla led one such raid, targeting a town where former White Knight Sir Just Train resided. Despite the town's destruction, Just Train's daughter managed to escape. She was rescued by Master Phyllis, a dwarf from the Ice Mountain dwarven colony, who intervened amid the chaos. In the year 161, the town of Edgeville became the site of a horrific event, later known as the Edgeville Incident. A Kintra operation escalated into a massive civilian massacre. Solus Delagar, a powerful mage allied with the Kintra, turned on both his allies and the town's residents in a fit of rage. Despite the efforts of local guards, the White Knights, the Temple Knights, and the Kintra, thousands of civilians were killed before Solus was finally subdued. In the years 162 to 163, Asgarnia faced a political upheaval as King Valence fell gravely ill. His condition was exploited by the White Knights, who seized political control of the kingdom. Crown Prince Anlaf denied his rightful place while his father was incapacitated. He took drastic measures by establishing Burnthorpe as an independent nation. This move created a new power dynamic in the region. With the White Knights in control of Asgarnia, the Kintra Order was stripped of its political power. Unable to resolve the conflict diplomatically, the Kintra confronted the White Knights in the woods of northern Asgarnia. The Battle of North Falador ended in a stalemate, setting the stage for ongoing hostility between the two factions, with both sides continuing their scheming and plotting. In 163, the Keldagrim Blackguard sought to enhance their training by establishing a system with the mobilising armies camp near the Feldip Hills. An agreement was reached whereby new recruits would receive training at the camp in exchange for a portion of their payment. This mutually beneficial arrangement continues to this day, fostering cooperation between the Black Guard and the mobilising armies. In the year 164, the events of Betrayal at Falador unfolded. Gerard, a werewolf from Mauritania, entered Asgarnia on a quest to find his nephew Garth under the orders of Lord Draken. During this period, the Kintra Lord was assassinated, paving the way for the extremist Lord Sulla. Sulla launched the War of 164 against both Asgarnia and the Dwarven Realm. Despite his aggressive campaign, Sulla was ultimately defeated. In 168, King Tyrus departed from Ardoin to explore Turanwin. This departure led to the occupation of West Ardoin by his brother, King Lathas. The year 169 was marked by an incredibly significant event as the adventurer, alongside the Myarki, finally confronted and killed the Mauritanian ruler, Lord Draken. Draken's death came at a great cost, with many Myarki members losing their lives in the process. Only a few survivors, including the adventurer, Valiath, and Ivan, remained. Vanescula, Draken's successor, attempted to invade Mistalin, but was thwarted by a strengthened barrier of the Salve, which repelled the vampires and forced Vanescula to reconsider her approach. With the barrier in place, the threat was contained, and Vanescula turned to a more diplomatic approach with Mistalin. Safalan and Afarate, key figures in Mauritania, stayed behind to assist Vanescula in her rule. The year 169 saw a significant skirmish known as the Battle of East Lumbridge. While relatively small, it had lasting repercussions. From this battle emerged two major factions. Duke Horatio established the Lumbridge Guard to defend Lumbridge, while Jonas Ulbrech founded the Radical Humans Against Monsters, with a mission to eradicate all monsters. The discovery of the Dorgeshan tribe of goblins in Lumbridge Castle's basement led to tensions. Sigmund, an advisor to Duke Horatio, plotted to exterminate them. However, a mysterious adventurer exposed Sigmund's scheme, leading to his removal and a peaceful resolution with the Dorgeshan. Despite repeated attacks by Sigmund's cult, the Dorgeshan, aided by the adventurer and the goblin Zanuck, successfully defended their city, Dorgesh Khan, and even repelled a major threat from Bandos. The year 169 was pivotal for magical advancement. The the Mage training arena was rebuilt at Cedrador's request, and the secrets of runecrafting were rediscovered, revitalizing the world's supply of runestones. However, this progress was marred by betrayal, as a Zamorakian dark mage uncovered runecrafting secrets with the help of a treacherous adventurer, gaining access to the abyssal plane. Additionally, the mystery of time travel was partially unravelled with the use of Erin's enchanted key, offering new insights into Gilinor's origin. As the 18th ritual approached, the Magyarart's activity intensified. Notably, Enakra and Athanakos clashed in the north, while General Khazad was defeated and exiled to the Shadow Realm. Azanandra, freed from his prison, aided in reconstructing ancient Zerosian ruins while secretly communing with Zaros. Zamorgul's attempt to besiege Varrock was thwarted by a brave adventurer who had also restored the Shield of Arav. Bilrak's exploration of Demonheim and Lucian's theft of the Staff of Armadyl further demonstrated the escalating chaos, leading to a climactic confrontation involving the Dragonkin and the Magyarart. Yalan's sacrifice during the ritual rejuvenated the Magyarart, but Lucian's misuse of the Stone of Jazz led to his downfall, with the Dragonkin killing him and shattering the Staff of Armadyl. The various Night Orders were highly active. Cruxikal allied with the Guardians of Armadyl and the Saradomis Temple Knights against Lucian. Temple Knights, White Knights, and other allies also tackled the threat of Solus Delagar and the Pest Queen, achieving significant victories despite facing numerous challenges. The Knights of Camelot discovered the Holy Grail, and the Myarchy, despite suffering losses, made strides in their struggle against the Firewatch. The monks at Patadomus also worked to nullify the Edicts of Guthix. In the year 169, West Ardoin was struck by a mysterious and deadly plague. The plague quickly spread panic and suspicion, leading to the city being quarantined and walled off from the rest of Gilinor. However, the truth behind the plague was far more complex. An adventurous hero managed to sneak into the quarantined city. With the help of Eleanor, it was revealed that the so-called plague was nothing more than a devious conspiracy. King Lathas, a ruler of Ardoin, falsely accused King Tyrus of the plague. Driven by this deception, the adventurer journeyed through the perilous underground pass to confront Tyrus. Upon defeating Tyrus, the adventurer uncovered a shocking revelation. They had been manipulated by King Lathas all along. Lathas had allied with the Iorwerth clan with the sinister plan to resurrect a Dark Lord. Aligning with the mourners of West Ardoin, who were in fact Iorwerth elves, the adventurer helped unveil the full extent of King Lathas's treachery. Arianwyn and the adventurer attempted to thwart the Iorwerth clan's plans, including safeguarding the diminishing defences of the Temple of Light. Through their investigation, they discovered that the elven capital of Prifddinas had been entirely converted into Crystal Seed, a shocking and troubling revelation. The year 169 also saw significant developments among the Fremennik. The year began with a period of relative peace, as an outlander adventurer was accepted into Fremennik society, acting as a universal diplomat. This adventurer played a crucial role in ending conflicts between Relica and the Mountain Camp, and assumed the regency of Miscellanea in place of King Vargas, who had been afflicted by a Yeti curse. The adventurer's efforts led to the restoration of peace between Exeteria and Miscellanea. Despite these successes, challenges did still remain. The adventurer struggled to mediate between Yartiz So and Natiz Not, with Yartiz So suffering from economic hardship under its current ruler's heavy taxes, while Natiz Not enjoyed prosperity. Progress was made with the Moon Clan, with relations improving despite a history of conflict. However, a new threat emerged: the Dagonoth. When the Dagonoth invaded the lighthouse and killed their mother, a new Dagonoth mother emerged at Waterbirth Island. This led to a joint effort by all Fremennik kingdoms, including the Moon Clan, to repel the Dagonoth threat. During the conflict, King Vargas and Queen Sigrid's marriage symbolised the formal unification of Miscellanea. Tragically, the joy was short-lived as Princess Astrid and Prince Brand were slain by the Dagonoth kings. Despite their loss, an adventurer managed to trap the new Dagonoth mother, preventing further devastation. This heroic act ensured the safety of all Fremennik provinces. Just beyond the Fremennik province, the people of Barbarian Village made strides towards stability, formally renaming their settlement to Gunnarsgrun, or Gunner's Ground. The year 169 was marked by a series of extraordinary events that shaped the course of Gielinor's history. Delrith, the ancient demon, was summoned once again by Agrith Nar, who was this time in disguise. Agrith Nar's goal had not wavered. His goal was once again to wreak havoc upon Varrock. As we know, Delrith's rampage was halted by the legendary Silverlight, which struck him down. Agrith Nar met a similar fate, his blood staining the sword and transforming it into the Dark Light. This series of events once again ensured the safety of Varrock and symbolised the enduring fight against dark forces. To the northwest of Varrock, a ghost town was repopulated and renamed Edgeville. There, the renowned blacksmith Oziak established his residence, selling rune plate bodies to those who proved themselves worthy. One such adventurer gained Oziak's respect by slaying Elvarg, the dragon infamous for burning down Crandor. This feat earned the adventurer a place among heroes and legends guilds. Zenaris was rediscovered, but soon after, the fairy godfather orchestrated a military coup to seize control of the realm. He dealt a severe blow to the fairy queen's power. Despite the fairy godfather's attempts, resistance emerged and restored the queen's health. With the Tooth Fairy leading as general, an adventurer played a crucial role in driving out the fairy godfather and his followers. The God Wars dungeon, now thawed, saw a resurgence of conflict as the four factions of gods once again fought over the Godsword, a weapon of immense power. An adventurer, willing to confront all four sides, succeeded in reconstructing the Godsword. Throughout the battle, rare creatures such as the Icene, Aviancy, and Urgs re-emerged. In Piscatorus, the last known phoenix narrowly escaped extinction, saved by a druid and a mysterious adventurer. The legendary mage Dionysius, accompanied by another adventurer, embarked on his final quest. They defended the Piscatorus fishing colony from a sea troll threat. Dionysius later settled in Draenor village, reconciling with his past. Though they faced challenges, including an attack on the Wizard's Tower, Dionysius and his companion ultimately lived out their days in relative peace. In Al-Kharid, the Emir's heir was kidnapped. However, fortune favoured. An adventurer, Leela, and Ozan managed a daring rescue. Although the Emir perished, the city was spared from further turmoil. The Lumbridge cook inadvertently resummoned the Culinaromancer during a secret council of Gielinor meeting. Time was frozen by Aris, allowing an adventurer to confront and defeat the Culinaromancer, who was ultimately killed. Char, the last of the Ausper, and rumoured consort of Zaros. Char was reawakened by an adventurer and a group of firemakers. Upon learning of Zaros' banishment, Char's anger led her to confront the adventurer and the firemakers that had reawakened her. Eventually, Char was defeated, but did not just disappear. She vowed to avenge Zaros, awaiting his return. As the Fifth Age drew to a close, the discovery of Guthix's resting place was made, revealing his final moments as he was slain by Sliske using the Staff of Armadyl. The catastrophic event shattered the edicts of Guthix, marking the end of the Fifth Age and ushering in a new era, the Sixth Age. Now, just before we start the Sixth Age, I want to highlight the absolute sheer importance of that very last part. that CharlieScape killed Guthix. If you have watched the previous video where I cover the first to the fourth ages, you'll understand more so of who Guthix was and how big of a deal this really is. The Edicts of Guthix also banished or helped banish the gods from the world of Gielinor. Now that they're destroyed, the gods can now return. Let's get into the 6th Age. The 6th Age of Gielinor, a time of epic battles, mysterious discoveries, and powerful deities vying for control of the world. In the wake of Guthix's demise, the world of Gielinor was forever changed. The Tavily Order of Druids, led by Caigmix, initiated the tribute to Guthix, a solemn ceremony to honour the fallen god without worshipping him. The Anima Mundi itself wept, manifesting as radiant, otherworldly trees across Gielinor. To honour Guthix's memory, the people of Gielinor created a tribute stone, a unique structure that required over 100,000 fragments of rune and pure essence. This symbol of respect for Guthix's passing brought people together, even as it divided others. While some druids remained loyal to Guthix's teachings, others, like Bien and the adventurer Karamir, formed the Godless. Their mission was clear: protect Gielinor from the influence of the gods. As the factions grew, emissaries were sent across the world, seeking recruits for their cause. Following Guthix's demise, the Order of Ascension, led by the Guardian Ocelus, emerged. This formidable group began abducting villagers in a misguided attempt to create a new deity. Ocelus, stationed at the entrance of their dungeon, sought the aid of adventurers to counter this threat. The aftermath of Guthix's death, his power scattered across the world. A fragment led to the emergence of a portal near Lumbridge, through which Zamorak returned, plunging the region straight into chaos. Saradomin, longtime rival of Zamorak, confronted him in a titanic battle. Their clash decimated the surrounding forest, destroyed part of the castle, and formed the Lumbridge crater. The warring gods rallied their armies, and the Battle of Lumbridge raged over 10 weeks. The battle centered around divine tears, remnants of Guthix's power. Saradomin's forces, narrowly victorious, managed to overpower Zamorak, though his lieutenant, Moya, saved him from a fatal blow. Despite the victory, the cost was great, and Zamorak suffered a significant loss of power. Amid the chaos, the residual power of Guthix's death spread across Gielinor. Humans discovered this energy and coined a new skill, divination, marking a new era of magical understanding. In the aftermath, Lumbridge began to rebuild under the guidance of Foreman George, assisted by adventurers from across the land. The town, though scarred by war, found hope in renewal. Amid the tension, CharlieScape, the cunning murderer, saw an opportunity to gain the attention of the gods. By orchestrating the murder of warriors and framing factions, CharlieScape incited chaos and suspicion among the divine. CharlieScape kidnapped Death, drawing Ictharin and the World Guardian to Armadyl Citadel for a chilling event, CharlieScape's Grand Ascension. In the throne room, the gods awaited CharlieScape's arrival, unaware of the trials ahead. Within the Citadel, CharlieScape revealed his plan, offering the Stone of Jazz as a reward to the god who eliminated the most divine peers. Unleashing a dragonkin, chaos erupted, and the World Guardian fought valiantly to save Death. In a daring escape, the World Guardian secured Death's freedom, evading CharlieScape's grasp. The stage was set for further conflict, as the gods eyed the prize with growing intensity. In the wake of CharlieScape's machinations, tensions between gods reached brand new heights. Armadyl and Bandos, each crafting powerful weapons, sought divine energy from the newly discovered divination skill, igniting a fierce war. Fierce battles erupted as followers clashed over strategic sites in Asgarnia and Mistalin. The Godless, seeking to prevent domination, ambushed caravans, disrupting both sides' efforts. As the conflict raged on, Armadyl ultimately emerged victorious. The war's climax saw Bandos' defeat, but also his demise, marking a pivotal moment in Gilinor's history. This was the death of a god. The second year of the Sixth Age saw the return of Zaros, the enigmatic god. Establishing contact with Azanandra, Zaros recognized Sliske's interference in accessing the Shadow Realm, paving the way for the World Guardian's journey to Runescape. In Runescape, the World Guardian met Zaros, tasked with gathering Mars energy to craft a suitable vessel. Through insights into the Great Revision and Mars' significance, Zaros sought to prevent catastrophe. With the energies gathered, Zaros' return was realized. Loyal Zarosians were informed of the resurrection, though Sliske's treachery led to his exile from the faction. Azanandra continued his mission, tasked with locating the Elder Halls to further Zaros' aims, ensuring his influence remained in Gilinor. In the wake of Zaros' return to Gilinor, another deity, Merimbo, the goddess of monkeys, made her lively comeback. Her path crossed with Brassica Prime, the god of cabbages. It led to a peculiar confrontation near Saradomin's old camp at the Lumbridge crater. Holstein, the emissary of the godless, arrived with Karamir to disrupt this divine contest. Yet Merimbo and Brassica Prime had no desire for bloodshed. Instead, they proposed a non-fatal competition, a battle of wits and creativity rather than might. As the challenges unfolded, the gods displayed their peculiar powers in a light-hearted contest. In the end, Brassica Prime emerged victorious, with Merimbo close behind, and the godless taking a surprising third place. But even as the gods played their games, a darker threat loomed over the island of Ashdale. Crassian creatures had emerged from the depths, abducting the island's residents and sowing fear across the land. Answering the call for help, the World Guardian arrived on Ashdale, cutting through the monstrous Crassians and confronting their formidable leader, Agoroth. In a fierce battle, the World Guardian triumphed, rescuing the kidnapped citizens and restoring peace to the beleaguered island. In the wake of the battle between Armadil and Bandos, Bandos's followers were consumed by a thirst for vengeance. Blaming humans for their god's demise, their anger quickly turned towards the Dorgashan, believing their rebellion had weakened Bandos and led to his defeat. Rallying an army, the Bandosians set their sights on Dorgish Khan, the underground city of the Dorgashan. Their intent was very clear: retribution for their fallen god. But the World Guardian, once again alongside Zanuck, a leader of the Dorgashan, had other plans. Intervening just as the Bandosians prepared to strike, the World Guardian and Zanuck stood in their path. Their actions and words sowed doubt among the enraged followers, causing them to reconsider their course. In place of outright war, the Bandosians chose to honour their ancient traditions, holding the Kaisage, a brutal tournament to decide who would lead them in the absence of their god. The outcome would shape the future of their entire faction. The outcome of the tournament redefined their priorities, turning their attention inward rather than outward. With the tournament concluded and a new leader chosen, the Bandosians no longer sought to march on Dorgish Khan. The immediate threat to the Dorgashan was averted, and a fragile peace settled over the lands once more. The skies over Gilinor darkened as Tuska, the colossal goddess of war and destruction, drew ever closer. Discovered by Wizard Chambers, an astromancer from the Wizard's Tower, her arrival threatened the very world itself. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Chambers devised a plan to defend Gilinor. He crafted a lodestone infused with magic and sent it to Tuska. As she approached, the lodestone activated, marking the beginning of a very desperate struggle. As the lodestone activated, Chambers called upon Gilinor's heroes, led by the World Guardian to confront this monstrous threat, but Tuska was no ordinary foe. Protected by a powerful barrier, she seemed near invincible. Realizing the dire situation, the gods themselves intervened. Representatives from Zamorak, Saradomin, Armadil, and the Godless all gathered. recruiting adventurers to their cause. Their goal was to charge an Anima Mundi spear with the energies of their factions and use it to shatter Tuska's protective barrier. In a fierce battle of will and power, the spear was launched, its energy clashing against Tuska's shield. Though the fight was intense, it was the Godless who struck the most telling blow, weakening Tuska enough for the final assault. Then, in a moment of monumental force, Virago, a being of unparalleled strength, delivered the final blow. Tuska's colossal body plummeted to the ground, landing south of the Wizard's Tower, leaving a lasting mark on the land. As her lifeless form lay across the landscape, a world window opened on her back, a portal to the unknown land of Mazcub. With Tuska defeated, a new chapter in Gilinor's history began, filled with the promise of fresh adventures and untold challenges. On the frostbitten shores of the Fremennik lands, a rare alliance between the Fremennik and the Moon Clan formed, setting aside old rivalries. Together with the World Guardian, they prepared to welcome their hero, V, a legendary figure returning after centuries. V's return was met with joy and reverence. Yet behind his strong exterior, V did carry a heavy burden: the desire to reunite the fractured Fremennik tribes and protect Gilinor from the gods' influence. But destiny took a very cruel turn. As V met with the World Guardian to discuss the mysterious drain on his power, the Dragonkin struck with deadly force. Despite his strength and determination, V fell to their brutal assault, leaving a void in the hearts of his people. In the aftermath of V's tragic death, the World Guardian sought vengeance, battling the Dragonkin in a fierce and desperate struggle. Though the Dragonkin were partially defeated, the loss of V cast a long shadow over the Fremennik lands. V's followers, refusing to succumb to despair, dedicated themselves to his legacy. At his resting place, a devoted emissary rallied those who believed in V's vision, drawing upon unexpected allies like goblins, who were moved by tales of his heroism. United by grief but driven by purpose, V's followers vowed to continue his quest, to reunify the Fremennik tribes and forge a future of strength and unity for Gilinor. Prifddinas, the once peaceful Crystal City, was now in turmoil. Its foundations shook, as if the very heart of the city cried out for help. Elined, sensing the city's desperation, sought the aid of the World Guardian, believing the tremors to be a call to bring back Seren, the lost elven deity. In the hallowed Tower of Voices, the elven clan leaders gathered for a tense debate. The question before them: should they resurrect Seren to save their city, or pursue another path? The World Guardian's voice, respected and decisive, guided the council towards a unanimous decision. Seren must be brought back to save Prifddinas. A plan was formed centered on an enchanted key, a relic of immense power. Entrusted with this key, the World Guardian embarked on a vital mission, travelling back in time to uncover the ancient knowledge needed to restore the city. Journeying through time, the World Guardian sought the Council of Guthix and learned the secrets of crystal singing and elven magic. With this newfound knowledge, they returned to the present, ready to guide the elves in their quest to save Prifddinas. To restore Seren, the World Guardian set out to gather the major shards needed to mend the city's core. Alongside Aranwin, they freed the former king, Baxtorian, securing his shard and preparing for the final act of restoration. In a ceremony filled with hope and determination, Prifddinas' core was mended, and Seren was fully restored. But her journey was not yet complete. She needed to be returned to her birthplace on Runescape to fulfill her transformation. Guided by the World Guardian and with the aid of Zaros, Seren was brought to Runescape, completing her transformation. When they returned to Prifddinas, the city had found peace. The tremors subsided, and Seren took her place in the Tower of Voices, not as a ruler, but as a benevolent guide. In gratitude for the World Guardian's invaluable help, the elves hailed them as the champion of Prifddinas. The Crystal City, now at peace, stood as a testament to the power of unity, wisdom, and the enduring spirit of its people. The Black Knights, under Lord Dacarius, sought the lost sword and banner of Radolin, launching a bold invasion of Falador. They believed these artifacts would secure their claim to Asgarnia. Unbeknownst to the Black Knights, the World Guardian found the artifacts and a letter from the late king. Dala, fearing its contents, withheld the truth from Asgarnia's people. Despite their relentless pursuit, the Black Knights failed to find the artifacts, retreating after weeks of combat. The White Knights emerged victorious, safeguarding their kingdom and its treasures. Zamorak's failed attempt to seize the Stone of Jazz spurred Sliske's creation of a scoreboard in the Grand Exchange, drawing attention to his contest. During this unstable time, nomads sought to create a new god, harnessing energy from deceased souls. The World Guardian, with Death's aid, thwarted his scheme. The contest's outcome affected Zanuck's fate, player choices determining her role in the unfolding narrative, whether she protected the Soul Obelisk or remained deceased. The heart of Gielinor, a location rich in anima. Factions led by Sliske, Zaros, Serene and Zamorak, each vying for control. The conflict awakened the Warden, Telos, a formidable creature of Anima Mundi. Soothsayer Sybil urged the World Guardian to subdue Telos, preventing chaos. After a year of struggle, Seren's faction triumphed, guarding the heart under her guidance, maintaining Gielinor's fragile balance. Inspired by adventure, Meg established a detective agency, teaming with the World Guardian to solve various cases, uncovering sinister truths. One such case led to Jed, a notorious slave trader, who hired Skull pirates to invade Port Sarim. Despite fierce resistance, he captured more slaves before fleeing to the Ark. Linza, seeking Sliske's protection, became a White, adding to Sliske's formidable army. The invasion underscored the stakes of their struggle. At the Varrot dig site, Celia Diggory unearthed Zaros' ancient throne room, an archaeological marvel employing new invention-skilled devices. Coinciding with the annual Fire Festival, a colossal Nihil emerged, seeking adventurers' aid in collecting burning embers for the enigmatic Queen of Ashes. The Queen of Ashes, a goddess of radiant power, sought the embers for study, drawn to Gielinor after Guthix's death shattered his edicts. V described her as a being akin to Bandos, Tuska, and Zao-Tak, and she planned to build her strength on other worlds before visiting Gielinor. Adventurers, intrigued by her fascination, embarked on quests to gather embers, uncovering secrets and forming alliances with powerful beings. The eclipse of Gielinor by Zenaris marked the climax of Sliske's contest, gathering gods, the World Guardian, Virago, Death, and the Dragonkin at the heart of Gielinor. Kerapak, the enraged Dragonkin, shattered the Stone of Jazz, leaving Zaros, Seren, Sliske, and the World Guardian in complete shock. In a final confrontation, Sliske targeted the World Guardian in vengeance, leading to a battle that ended with Sliske's defeat, securing Gielinor's safety. As the new year dawned, an ancient Naragi shrine emerged at Eagle's Peak, drawing divineers like Orla Fairweather to explore its mysteries. The memorial to Guthix, a sacred site, honoured Guthix's teachings, offering insights into his philosophy and his principles. Visitors delved into memories stored within, gaining knowledge and enlightenment, forging a space of reflection, contemplation, and spiritual growth. In the shadowy strongholds of Zamorakian power, General Nymora, a formidable Avonic warrior, had devoted her life to tracking down those who betrayed their god. With relentless resolve, she ensured that no treachery went unpunished. Recognizing the enormity of her task, Nymora called upon her most trusted agents, Zimthara and Mithrius. Their mission, to seek out adventurers across Gielinor, recruiting those with the skill and bravery to hunt down the traitorous demons who had defied Zamorak. From the bustling streets of Varrock to the desolate wastelands of the wilderness, Zimthara and Mithrius journeyed far and wide. They called upon the strongest and most courageous adventurers, urging them to join the hunt for those who had forsaken their allegiance to Zamorak. Guided by the agents, the adventurers embarked on dangerous quests, delving into the darkest corners of the world to track down these betrayers. In the heat of battle, the adventurers proved their worth, confronting the treacherous demons with unwavering resolve. With every victory, they brought justice to those who had strayed, ensuring that Zamorak's will was always carried out. Through the combined efforts of Nymora, her agents, and the brave adventurers that answered the call, the traitors were brought to justice. The ideals of Zamorak were upheld, and a message was sent to all who might dare betray their god. An anima witch, exiled from the Void Knights, stumbled upon an ancient temple in Lumbridge Swamp, breaking its seal to reveal a portal which led to the abyss. Anima permeated the abyss, posing unforeseen threats. Recognizing the danger, Temple Knights and Void Knights united to form the Abyssal Knights, dedicated to preventing abyssal creatures from entering Gielinor. Adventurers joined the Knights, battling abyssal creatures to protect Gielinor, forming a united front against the encroaching darkness. The Lost Grove. Corrupted by Erethdor's mind, Solak, guardian of the Lost Grove, emerged, revealing the mystical realm to the world. Erethiel, recognizing the threat, sought the World Guardian and allies to liberate Solak from Erethdor's control. Through determination and skill, adventurers weakened Erethdor's hold, freeing Solak and restoring the Lost Grove's harmony. Black Stones. Brill Foxdetyr, uncovering sinister plots, called adventurers to the Temple of Amanishi, where they faced acolytes and powerful foes. Defeating Seryu's acolytes, the World Guardian broke the Azure Serpent's chains, learning of another presence far north. Guided by Kerapak's knowledge, the World Guardian defeated the Black Stone Dragon, revealing insights into the Black Stone's true nature. With Death and Moya's aid, the World Guardian fought demons at Draenor's Rift, defeating a powerful Lucian, closing the portal. Reunited with Madame Xi, they faced the Ambassador, ending the Eldritch entity's threat with Seryu's assistance. Serene covened Gielinor's leaders, revealing the Elder God's looming threat. Her plan aimed to demonstrate mortals' value to the Elder Gods. Kerapak proposed using the needle to thwart the Elder Gods, a drastic plan risking all life on Gielinor. Despite skepticism, the Council considered his proposal. Uncovering Kerapak's deception, the World Guardian rallied forces, determined to stop him and protect Gielinor's inhabitants. Responding to Kerapak's threat, King Rold of Varrock funded ship construction, appointing Mr. Mordeau as foreman. Adventurers expedited the process, preparing for an expedition to the island of Anachronia. Upon reaching Anachronia, the expedition established a base camp, venturing into the island's mysteries, confronting peculiar flora and fauna. Facing challenges and puzzles, adventurers gathered crucial information on Kerapak, navigating Anachronia's dangers. Guildmaster Tony and Dr. Nabanik studied the monolith when Zaros activated the artifact, revealing its power. Tony, experimenting with Blackstone, became absorbed by it. Welcomed by the Archaeology Guild, the World Guardian explored dig sites, uncovering artifacts and lore, becoming Guildmaster after Tony's fate. At Caradet they met Trindine, and Marjorat thought lost, earning the Guildmaster title, leading expeditions, and mentoring new recruits. Concerned by Kerapak's activities, Seren's council sent Thok and Karos to investigate, joined by the World Guardian and Hannibus. They uncovered Dragonkin factions and Kerapak's plans, facing island dinosaurs and thwarting Kerapak's manipulation of shadow anima. In a climactic showdown with the unforeseen aid of Jazz, an Elder God, their combined efforts bring Kerapak's dark ambitions to an abrupt end. The Elder God full, awakened, and wrathful destroys Kerapak's laboratory, halting his manipulation of shadow anima. Slayer Master Laniakea, investigating Anachronia tremors, sought the World Guardian's help, uncovering a shadow anima chamber. The chamber's toxic anima forced Laniakea's retreat, leaving the World Guardian to explore further, discovering Zaros' presence of all things. Zaros revealed Raksha's imprisonment, tasking the World Guardian with subduing the Shadow Colossus, ensuring Anachronia's safety. Zaros assigned Azanandra and Trindin to retrieve Saradomin's crown, the Locator, as part of his aspirations to become an Elder God himself. Unaware of their role in the heist, the World Guardian sought the Elder Halls, an elaborate ruse orchestrated by Azanandra and Trindin. During this time, Sir Owen went to look for Survey Lance. Trindin went with him, where Survey Lance revealed himself as the Zerosian demon Valinius. Discovering this plot, Owen threatened to expose the demon's identity to the Temple Knights, unaware that the organisation was actually already compromised of Zerosians. Trindin, giving Valinius the Frost and Horn, awakened the Temple Knights' Zerosian loyalties. Zaros intervened, securing the artifact, revealing his intent to attack the monolith. As Zaros prepared to seize the monolith, an unprecedented alliance formed. Saradomin, Seren, and the Cruxical united to thwart his plans. With them stood the powerful Zerosian generals, Azanandra, Nex, and Char, their eyes set on breaching the monolith's defences. The Zerosian forces, led by Char, Nex, and Azanandra, launched a ferocious assault on the Varrock dig site. Char, in a bold move, sounded the Frostenhorn, signalling the charge of Zaros' forces. The battlefield became a storm of clashing powers as Saradominus, Serenus, and the Cruxical fought desperately against the onslaught. In a decisive moment, Zaros breached the monolith, opening the Codex. But as the Codex unfolded its secrets, Zaros himself entered Erebus, leaving Gielinor behind. To this day, we do not know where Zaros is. He's still in Erebus to our knowledge. We don't know what he's up to. But that's certainly going to be an exciting lead moving forward. The breach allowed shadow creatures to flood into the world, spreading darkness and chaos. Char, realizing the danger, turned from her enemies to combat the shadow invaders, but the situation grew dire. The World Guardian, sensing the impending doom, rallied reinforcements from across Gielinor. Even the ancient and mighty Tok-Ha joined the fray, their stone forms carving a path through the shadow creatures. Together, the forces of light and dark fought side by side, striving to reclaim control from the encroaching darkness. Amidst the swirling chaos, Azanandra ascended, using his power to seal the breach in the monolith. Char, though exhausted from battle, once again blew the Frostenhorn in a moment of triumph. But the artifact, resonating with the residual shadow anima, unleashed a powerful force, sucking Char into the depths of Erebus, where she vanished without a trace. Despite the hard-won victory, the monolith's opening left Gielinor scarred and corrupted. The Tok-Ha, driven by their ancient duty, sought to destroy those they deemed responsible, but they were met with fierce resistance from the united defenders. As the dust settled, Saradomin entrusted Sir Owen with the critical task of guarding the monolith. Meanwhile, deep within the shadows of Golvus Mansion, Renija uncovered ancient doors, hinting at secrets buried within the forgotten city of Sentistin, secrets that might yet shape the fate of Gielinor. Preparing for war. The Elder God's eggs were cracking. Azanandra joined Ariane, Karos, and the World Guardian to relocate them, enlisting divine aid. This was necessary. Saradomin, Armadil, Seren, and Zamorak pledged their support, while Ixthlarin assembled allies beyond Gielinor, a coalition against the Elder Gods. Kerapak's ominous projection warning us of the Elder Gods' awareness. Undeterred, the World Guardian and allies braced for battle, determined to defend Gielinor from the Elder God's wrath and secure its future. The Elder God Wars. The Elder God threat loomed large, and defenders gathered to protect Sentiston's cathedral, housing the precious eggs. Kerapak, under Jazz's orders, led the assault. In a monumental clash, the World Guardian confronted Kerapak, thwarting his attempt to seize the eggs. Yet, Jazz intervenes, whisking Kerapak away, denying him death. This is where the famous line in the Kerapak encounter comes from, "Let me die." Jazz is the one removing Kerapak, not allowing him to die. Amid the chaos, Neressa, a Nodon Dragonkin, escaped captivity, seeking refuge in Sentiston's shadows, adding a new layer to the unfolding drama. As Jazz faltered, Wen, another Elder God, unleashed a glacial assault. The defenders faced a relentless onslaught as the Arch-Glaikor wreaked havoc. Kadan and Iowath clans joined forces, guided by Helwyr. Together with allies, they weakened the Arch-Glaikor, providing respite against the Elder God's might. The World Guardian's triumph against the Arch-Glaikor bolstered morale, yet the looming threat of Bix forces demanded renewed vigilance. Bic revived Croesus, leading a third assault through the graveyard. Croesus's might swept through defences, and the Nodon and Glacites closed in on the cathedral. Gorvek, drawing from past encounters, led the defence. With allies rallying, strategies were devised to counter Croesus' lethal spore. New allies emerged, including the Raptor, Sir Owen, Ozan, and the Abyssal Knights. The call for aid reached Zarador and General Grador, bolstering forces against the relentless assault. Facing dire straits, Zamorak proposed raising undead warriors. Seren, recognizing necessity, agreed to bolster defences against the onslaught. The Elder God Full turned the Elder Kiln's power on the Tok'ha, creating the formidable Tzek-Ha. With Karl Zuk as their leader, they severed supply lines beneath Sentiston. Necromancers and Bandosian forces rallied against the Tzek-Ha. Grador took on Zuk himself in a personal duel, the demigod emerging victorious. With unwavering determination, the World Guardian faced Zuk, defeating him to preserve Sentiston's defences. As the fierce battle of the Elder God Wars raged on, hope seemed to wane with each passing moment. The forces of the Elder Gods were absolutely relentless, and the defenders, though valiant, were struggling to hold the line. It was in this dire moment that Ixthlarin, the god of the dead, returned to Gielinor with a sombre realization. Ixthlarin knew that reinforcements were not coming. The gods were stretched thin, and the tide of the battle was turning against them. But the god of the dead had a daring alternative, one that could turn the tide. He proposed using the Eye of Het, a powerful and ancient artifact capable of reviving the strongest and most willing fallen souls, bringing them back to the fight. This approach was a stark contrast to the necromantic practices employed by the defenders, but it offered a glimmer of hope in an increasingly desperate situation. With Seren's approval, Ixthlarin set out to locate the Eye of Het, believed to be hidden in the Jewel Arena. However, fate had other plans. As Ixthlarin and his followers searched the area, a violent earthquake struck, ravaging the Jewel Arena and reducing it to ruins. But Ixthlarin was not deterred. He knew that the Eye of Het was their only hope of bolstering their forces and turning the tide of battle. Undeterred by the devastation, a group of volunteers from Al-Kharid, the Archaeology Guild, and the World Guardian joined forces with Ixthlarin. Together they transformed the shattered arena into a new oasis dedicated to Het, providing a focal point to their efforts to locate the artifact. Their efforts bore fruit as they uncovered the hidden chambers where the Eye of Het was believed to be kept. But their discovery revealed more than they had bargained for. The ward protecting the artifact had been tampered with, its seals broken. It was later revealed that Khazard, a cunning and malevolent force, had orchestrated the attack and stolen the Eye of Het from under Icthurin's nose. In a dramatic confrontation that followed, Zamorak confessed before the other gods. It was he who had ordered the theft of the Eye of Het. His reason? To prevent Seren from using the artifact to create a perpetual conflict, a cycle of endless fighting, meant to delay the inevitable destruction of the Elder God eggs. Seren, caught in the act, reluctantly admitted the truth of Zamorak's claim, her plan laid bare for all to see. Now, with the Eye of Het in enemy hands and Seren's true intentions revealed, the remaining gods faced an impossible choice. They knew the Elder God eggs would hatch, bringing about a new age of destruction. And with Zamorak's departure, they were left to confront this harsh reality. The battle was far from over, but the gods knew that whatever they did next would determine the fate of Gielinor and the entire universe. Following Zamorak's departure, Gielinorians lost undead allies, leaving them vulnerable. Elder God's forces advanced, forcing a retreat in Sentistin's cathedral. Amid the chaos, Moya arrived with Adrastea, Saradomin's daughter. Together they fought the Tzek-Ha, aided by the World Guardian in a valiant stand. Zook battered the cathedral's door, prompting Saradomin and Armadil to consider destroying the eggs. Seren, unwilling to harm her kin, vanished with them. Determined to save Gielinor, the World Guardian, Moya, Adrastea, Hannibus, Vicendithus pursued Seren to Runescape, confronting her amid a Shadow Anima portal. Kerapak turned back time, granting moments before Jazz's arrival. The World Guardian lured a Shadow Leviathan, engaging Jazz in battle. Kerapak's sacrifice and the Leviathan's intervention dragged the Elder God Jazz into Erebus. To this day, we do not currently know the situation of Jazz. We know she was pulled into Erebus by the Shadow Leviathan, and we've heard nothing since. Seren, intending to hatch the eggs on Aya, summoned the Elder Gods. The World Guardian's battle against Seren allowed the Ilyankans' evacuation. Moya's betrayal stranded the Guardian. Witnessing Aya's anima drained, the Elder Gods reincarnated as children. Seren spared the World Guardian, recognizing their efforts. Upon returning to Gielinor, the World Guardian sought out Moya, the enigmatic servant of Zamorak, to update her and the remaining gods on the events that had unfolded. With gravity in their voice, the Guardian recounted Seren's decision to keep the young Elder Gods on Aya, deeming the universe far too dangerous for their survival. Seren believed that the universe held too many perils for the newly reborn Elder Gods. Threats not just from other deities, but from the shadowy creatures lurking in the depths of Erebus. She resolved to protect them on Aya, far from the reach of those who might seek to exploit or harm them. The World Guardian informed the gods that the battle in Sentistin had finally drawn to a close after Seren's departure. Azanandra, with unwavering resolve, had banished the Arch-Glacor back to Leng, sealing the threat it posed. Zook, ever the fierce combatant, had returned to the kiln, leading the Tzek-Ha back to their fiery domain. Croceus, the monstrous spore of decay, had met its end, incinerated by Armadil's divine wrath. And the Nodon withdrew to Anachronia, their campaign concluded. Saradomin, unsurprised by Zamorak's betrayal, understood that his rival's forces were too depleted to pose an immediate threat. With this knowledge, he turned his attention to rebuilding, returning to Falador with Adrastea to oversee the recovery of his kingdom. Meanwhile, Armadil, the winged god of justice, took to the skies, making his way to Prifddinas to watch over Seren's followers, ensuring they remained safe in their goddess's absence. Azanandra, ever the loyal servant of Zaros, turned to the World Guardian with a rare display of gratitude. He acknowledged the Guardian's unwavering efforts, recognizing the crucial role they had played in securing victory and safeguarding Gielinor from the chaos that had threatened to consume it. With the battle won, but the scars still very fresh, the gods and their followers began the long process of recovery. Yet, as they each returned to their domains, one truth remained very clear. Gielinor had been forever changed, and the echoes of this war would resonate through the ages to come. A new threat emerged as the World Guardian found Circadian outside Sentistan. Saved by Grigorovich and Nerissa, Circadian's tale set a new quest in motion. Joined by Nerissa, they sought a cure for Erasinus, discovering Zamorak's plan to amass demons for an assault on Gielinor. Infiltrating a cult, the Guardian uncovered Zamorak's control over the infernal source. But demons launched attacks on Mistalin and Bernthor. The Shadow Voice suggested re-establishing the Edicts of Guthix. Meeting with the Guardians of Guthix, the ritual's cost became clear. Losing powers, banishing all powerful gods. With preparations underway, the Guardian defended Gielinor, dispatching agents to reach Zamorak and end his plans. A new era. In the depths beneath Sentistan, Azanandra's agents uncovered a secret Zamorakian base, where dark rituals were underway. Cultists and coven witches, empowered by the remnants of their fallen god, summoned legions of demons through a powerful portal. Saradomin, determined to eradicate this threat, dispatched his knights to cleanse the area. However, the resistance they faced was incredibly fierce, forcing them to call upon the World Guardian for aid. With unwavering resolve, the World Guardian, accompanied by their allies, fought through the enemy's defences, cutting a path through the darkness to reach the heart of the base. Their ultimate goal was clear: to confront Zamorak and end his threat once and for all. In the desolate wilderness crater, the World Guardian confronted Zamorak, revealing a plan that could use the remade edicts to banish him. Zamorak, initially amused by what he perceived as a futile effort, soon realised the Guardian's power. With a final, decisive blow, the Guardian defeated him, stripping him of his power and title, and banishing him from Gielinor forever. Without delay, the World Guardian informed Saradomin and Adrastea of their victory. Saradomin, understanding the far-reaching effects of the new edicts, accepted that his time in Gielinor was also coming to an end. With a final broadcast to the people, Saradomin bid farewell, appointing Adrastea as his successor before his banishment took hold. As the realm settled from the chaos, Adrastea, feeling the immense responsibility of her new role, turned to the adventurer for aid. She requested they check on Armadil and Azanandra to ensure that the transition of power was smooth and that peace could be maintained. At his divine focus, Armadil expressed remorse for the turmoil caused by the god's pursuit of power. He revealed his intentions to leave Gielinor and aid the crystal shapeshifters on Tardiad, abandoned by Seren. Meanwhile, Azanandra, alongside Nex, prepared to continue their work on Runescape, recognizing that their time in Gielinor was also drawing to a close. In the wake of Zamorak's banishment, it will be no surprise to hear his followers were thrown into chaos. Their loyalty was fractured. Krill, a powerful demon general in the God Wars dungeon, sought to claim leadership of the faction, leading to a brutal civil war against Bilrak's followers in the treacherous wilderness. Amid the chaos, Moya, acting as Bilrak's enforcer, methodically dismantled the attacking forces. Her investigation into the source of the escalating demon attacks led her to an incredibly shocking discovery. Avarice, another key figure in the Zamorakian hierarchy, was behind the assaults. Determined to put an end to Avarice's betrayal, Moya confronted her with ruthless efficiency. She trapped her soul with a Diabolus, a powerful artifact provided by Trindine. But the confrontation did not end there. When the World Guardian arrived to investigate, they found themselves caught in a web of deception. Anne Dimitri, a seemingly loyal ally, was revealed to be Trindine in disguise. And Moya proceeded to escape, leaving the Guardian with more questions than answers. As the war raged on, Moya, ever cunning, struck a deal with Nymora, promising to betray Krill in exchange for her sister's soul. This pivotal move led to Krill's banishment back to Infernus and secured Bilrak's victory. With the infernal conflict resolved through a series of unexpected alliances and betrayals, a fragile stability returned to the Zamorakian faction under Bilrak's leadership. With the civil war behind him, Bilrak shifted his focus to consolidating power. His ambition led him to target the human kingdoms, seeking to siphon their souls to enhance his own strength. He dispatched his agents to Menaphos and Sentistin, aiming to acquire the powerful devices and knowledge needed for his dark plan. But Bilrak's machinations did not go unnoticed. Adrastea, now fully embracing her role as Basilissa, uncovered his nefarious plan. Recognizing the grave threat it posed, she enlisted the adventurer's aid to stop him. Together, Adrastea and the adventurer worked tirelessly to disrupt Bilrak's plans, thwarting his attempts to siphon the souls of the human kingdoms. Their successful intervention not only prevented a disaster, but also left Bilrak significantly weakened and humiliated. Sensing her moment, Moya seized the opportunity to challenge Bilrak's authority. Armed with newfound power and the knowledge he sought to exploit, she overthrew him, ushering in a new era of leadership within the Zamorakian ranks. As Bilrak fell, a strange and enigmatic energy began to spread throughout Gielinor, marking the beginning of a new chapter in the world's history. During this time, Adrastea's wisdom and leadership were formally recognized, and she was coronated as Basilissa. Her reign began with the promise of long-lasting peace, as she set out to heal the wounds left behind by the conflicts of the past. In the wake of the Zamorakian threat, King Rold of Mistalin announced a bold initiative: the reclamation of a strategic veil between Mistalin and Demonheim. This effort aimed to establish a protective border against the lingering dangers of the wilderness and prevent further incursions by Zamorak's followers. Many had tried and failed to reclaim the veil, but the adventurer, ever fearless, rose to the challenge. They faced hordes of zombies, battling through dangers with unwavering determination. In the process, they rescued Bill, a steadfast ally who would prove invaluable in the efforts to rebuild. With Bill at their side, the adventurer began the arduous task of rebuilding the veil. They recruited skilled individuals such as Father Flint, Asta, and Overseer Civ, each bringing their unique talents to the project. Together they worked tirelessly to transform the once dangerous region into a fortified stronghold, which they proudly named Fort Forinthry. Upon its completion, Fort Forinthry stood as a beacon of safety and strength. In recognition of their remarkable achievement, the adventurer was bestowed with a title of nobility, cementing their position as a prominent figure within Mistalin's hierarchy and marking a new chapter in the region's history. To celebrate the successful completion of Fort Forinthry, King Rold extended a grand invitation to the adventurer to host a royal banquet. Nobles from across Mistalin, including the king and queen themselves, gathered at the newly fortified stronghold to commemorate the achievement and reinforce the unity of the realm. The adventurer, with the help of their trusted allies, oversaw the meticulous preparations for the event. The banquet kitchen was set up, and invitations were sent to the realm's most prominent figures, including Duke Horse of Edgeville and Iris, the Lumbridge ambassador. As the guests arrived, the atmosphere was one of anticipation but also celebration. The banquet commenced. The adventurer regaled the guests with tales of their past adventures, captivating the audience and drawing admiration from all. The mood was light, and the bonds of unity among Mistalin's nobility seemed stronger than ever. But the joyous atmosphere was abruptly shattered when Duke Horse suddenly collapsed, his face contorted in pain. It became clear that he had been poisoned, and the fort was immediately placed on lockdown. The once celebratory mood turned to one of urgency and fear as the search for the culprit began. With the help of Asta, the adventurer began a thorough investigation. Clues were gathered and suspicions mounted as they worked to unravel the mystery behind the assassination. As the investigation unfolded, it became apparent that the original target had been none other than King Rold himself, the plot driven by a deep-seated desire for revenge. In a dramatic turn of events, the adventurer exposed the murderer as Bianca, Asta's sister. Her betrayal stunned those present, as the true nature of the plot was revealed. Though the banquet had ended in tragedy, the adventurer's quick thinking and determination ensured that justice was served. In the aftermath, a silver lining emerged as Duke Horse's sister stepped forward to assume the role of Edgeville's new Duchess. Though the celebration had been marred by tragedy, the fort stood as a testament to the resilience and unity of Mistalin. Now, with the royal banquet behind them, the adventurer received an unexpected visit from the Raptor, a renowned warrior known for his combat prowess. The Raptor brought troubling news. A growing number of zombies were amassing to the north of Fort Firenthry, and immediate action was required. Without hesitation, the adventurer and the Raptor joined forces, confronting the undead threat with unmatched determination. Together they fought through waves of zombies, ensuring that the fort's walls held firm against the relentless assault. Recognizing the need for additional protection, Overseer Civ took it upon themselves to recruit new guards for the fort. Meanwhile, the adventurer focused on strengthening the fortifications, ensuring that the fort would be prepared for any future attack. Their preparations were soon put to the test as a new, formidable opponent emerged, a powerful phantom unlike anything they had ever faced before. The adventurer and the Raptor fought valiantly against the mysterious foe, determined to uncover the truth behind its origin. Their investigation led them to a crypt located further north, where they discovered the cunning Margaret Zemmerregal in the mid of a dark ritual. It became clear that Zemmerregal had sent the zombies as a diversion, allowing him to focus on forcing open an ancient dragonkin door. In a display of his dark power, Zemmerregal summoned several powerful undead beings to protect his ritual, forcing the adventurer and the Raptor to retreat temporarily. After dealing with the undead outside Firenthry, the adventurer and the Raptor turned their attention back to the crypt and the sealed dragonkin door. However, before they could proceed, they faced a new challenge. Injuries among the guards needed immediate attention. To address this, Overseer Civ suggested appointing a captain to take charge of the fort's defences. After conducting interviews, Sophia was chosen for the role. Wasting no time, she established an archery training station to better prepare the guards for future encounters. Once the preparations were complete, the adventurer and the Raptor returned to the crypt, ready to continue their quest. While within the crypt, they stumbled upon a mysterious dragonkin device. Realizing its potential and significance, they brought it to Reldo for further examination. The device, they learned, had the ability to induce deep sleep and vivid dreams, a powerful but dangerous tool. Before Reldo could warn them of its dangers, the Raptor, ever impulsive, decided to use the device to unlock the dragonkin door and learn its secrets. Both adventurers were put into a deep slumber, entering a vivid and mysterious dream state. As they navigated the dream's mysteries, a shocking revelation came to light. The Raptor was, in fact, Queen Elamaria. This newfound knowledge added a deeper layer to their quest, but they remained focused on their ultimate goal. They soon learned that Zemmerregal had already beaten them to the key they sought. Overseer Civ came to their aid once again, providing crucial information about their next destination, Ungale, a feared location among the Fremennik. With renewed determination, the adventurer and the Raptor prepared for the journey ahead. Civ began preparations for a ship to help the adventuring duo search for the island. With the ship ready, the adventurer and the Raptor set sail for Ungale, venturing into treacherous waters and the unknown challenges that awaited them. In the aftermath of the god's banishment, a new and insidious threat began to rise in the shadows of Gillinor. Raziel, the first necromancer, seized the moment of vulnerability to enact his dark ambitions. His plan was nothing short of catastrophic, the complete annihilation of life on Gillinor, breaking the cycle of death itself and plunging the world into an eternal night. To achieve this, Raziel sought the aid of Hermod, the Spirit of War, a formidable ally with a shared desire for chaos and destruction. Together, they turned their sights on the city of transforming it into a stronghold of undeath. The citizens, once free, were now bound to Raziel's will, an army of the undead ready to march against the living. But Raziel's ambitions did not go unnoticed. From his dark citadel, he observed the movements of the adventurer, intrigued by their growing influence and power. Through telepathic whispers, Raziel began to reach out, sowing seeds of doubt and fear, testing the adventurer's resolve. His presence was a constant shadow, lurking just out of sight, yet always felt. As the adventurer journeyed across Gielinor, they became increasingly aware of the hidden threat Raziel posed. His dark influence was felt in every corner of the world, a reminder that even with the gods gone, the struggle for Gielinor's survival was far from over. The battle against Raziel and his undead army would not just be a fight for survival, it would be a battle for the very soul of Gielinor. In the shadow of Draenor, a mysterious portal emerged, exuding an eerie aura. The adventurer, ever curious, approached, only to be struck down by a spectral sword, Angur Vidal, emerging from the portal's depths. In the realm beyond mortality, Death himself was startled by the unexpected demise. Unraveling the events that led here, Death guided the adventurer into the underworld, where they encountered Raziel, the first necromancer. Raziel, seated in his citadel within the desolate city of extended an invitation to the adventurer to become his apprentice. His plan? To wage war on the living, fueled by the drained Well of Souls. Under the watchful eye of Death, Malignus Mortifier became the adventurer's mentor in the dark arts of necromancy. Rituals were mastered, necrotic runes were crafted, and the Well of Souls began its slow resurgence. As the adventurer restored life to ghostly populace, they faced Hermod, the spirit of war. Victory in this battle drew Raziel's attention, a sign of the adventurer's growing power. An audience with Necrovarus revealed the treacherous past of Raziel, once a mentor turned betrayer. With newfound knowledge, the adventurer fortified the Well of Souls, preparing for the ultimate showdown. Raziel acknowledged the adventurer's growth, but hinted at unfinished lessons. The shadows of Demonheim lingered, with Raziel promising to test his apprentice's mettle soon. After visiting Demonheim, where the adventurer met Eudora, a necromancer once taught by Raziel, the final confrontation awaited. The time for testing had come. Raziel challenged his apprentice to a final duel within his citadel. The stakes were high. Captured souls would be released if the adventurer prevailed. In a fierce clash of necromantic power, the adventurer faced wave after wave of undead, each more formidable than the last. Raziel, now a giant ghostly head, unleashed his full might. The adventurer emerged victorious, learning the full extent of Raziel's plan. Reporting to Death, they uncovered Raziel's history as a rogue guardian of Guthix, once a protector, now a harbinger of death. Returning to Fort Firenthri, the adventurer conferred with Overseer Civ, who revealed ongoing archaeological digs in the Wilderness Crypt. A new threat loomed. Zemmer sought an ancient weapon on Ungale. With the fort's inhabitants prepared for defense, the adventurer led an expedition to Ungale, accompanied by the Raptor, Asta, and Bill. The journey was perilous, but the team was determined. On Ungale, Zemmer attempted to resurrect a colossal undead dragon. Despite the adventurers' efforts, the ritual sadly succeeded, leaving them stranded on the island as undead forces swarmed them. Amid the chaos, the team discovered Zorgoth's lab, learning of Vorkath's origin, the undead dragon. A teleportation device offered a way out, and with haste, they returned to Fort Firenthri to rally the inhabitants. As Fort Firenthri braced for invasion, Zemmer led his undead army atop Vorkath. The fort's inhabitants sought refuge, while guards defended the walls against the relentless assault. The adventurer and the Raptor ventured forth, methodically disrupting Zemmer power sources, halting the undead tide. But Vorkath's icy power still wreaked havoc, pushing the fort to its limits. In a shocking twist, Vorkath turned against its master, leaving Zemmer vulnerable. The adventurer and the fort's guards launched a final assault, capturing Zemmer and securing the fort. With the fort safe, King Rold and Queen Elamaria arrived for a celebratory feast. Yet, beneath the victory, the adventurer uncovered Moya's mysterious involvement in recent events. Before leaving, the adventurer fortified Zemmer cell with a necrotic ward, ensuring his confinement. but the mystery of Moya's intentions remained lingering like a dark cloud. With the fort restored, Asta brought troubling news. Vorkath had escaped the battle. Fearing its return, the adventurer set out for Ungel once more, determined to end this threat. Seeking insight, the adventurer consulted Zorgoth's archivist, uncovering fragments of knowledge about Vorkath's cursed condition. Zemorigal hinted at untapped power within the dragon, drawing Moya's interest. In the city of Death revealed a possible solution, a ritual to purify Vorkath's soul, requiring the Gathixian Soul Beacon, an artifact connected to the Tree of Balance. Armed with the relic, the adventurer performed the ritual, but Bilrak, thought dead, resurfaced with vengeance, triggering a desperate struggle to complete the ceremony. In a race against time, the ritual was completed, but not without cost. Bilrak's sinister plan nearly succeeded, but death confirmed Vorkath's survival, offering a glimmer of hope. Upon returning to Fort Farinthri, the adventurer confronted Zemorigal, revealing Bilrak's survival. An impossibility according to Margarat law. The revelation cast a shadow of mystery, leaving more questions than answers. In the underworld, the adventurer encountered a suspicious stranger, enticing a ghost to the Sanctum of Rebirth with promises of a second chance. To uncover the truth, they sought Death's counsel. Disguised as a zombie, the adventurer infiltrated the Sanctum, uncovering its dark history as a Maskat's domain before her fall from grace. Despite Ixthlarin's protests, the adventurer volunteered to purge the Sanctum of a Maskat's corruption. In a brave and decisive act, they purified the sacred space, freeing it from the Devourer's grip. The Sanctum was liberated, sparing countless souls from a grim fate. The adventurers' deeds left an enduring legacy, a testament to their courage and resolve in the face of darkness. And there we have it, the epic journey through the 5th and 6th ages of Runescape. We, together, have traversed two of the most pivotal ages in Gilinor's history. It's been a monumental task to bring you this deep dive into the lore, but I hope you've enjoyed every twist and every turn as much as I've enjoyed recounting it. The world of Gilinor is vast and ever-changing, with each chapter bringing new challenges, heroes, and stories that capture our imagination. But even as these ages come to a close, the story of Runescape is far from over. There are still countless adventures to be had, mysteries to unravel, and battles to fight. Who knows what the future holds for the World Guardian and the inhabitants of Gilinor? Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through the ages. Your support means the world to me, and I cannot wait to explore more of RuneScape's rich history with all of you. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the lore of Gilinor. And as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your favourite moments or theories about what's to come for the future. Until next time, adventurers, stay safe, keep exploring, and I'll see you in Gilinor.